Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Radical Dreamers, sponsored by Square Enix. So, we have gone through the main game's ending, which was good, right? It definitely set up some good stuff for the future, and you can see they had some plans for sure. However, we're going to hit that... Oh, shoot. It says new game. Oh, no. Oh, no, I have to rebeat... Do I have to rebeat the game to get the continue? I probably do. Well, let's see here. Because it was continue before. Let's see if it's gonna change. We'll know if we get the option at the beginning to sleep. Let's see here. Doesn't look like it. All right. In that case, let me go back and rebeat the game so that we can do that. I didn't think that would happen. All right, there we go. I've redone it there, and that was is still a bit sad rereading it, man. It's so good. Just this is great, right? But that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is now we should have, yes, the continue option. And this lets us get some of the new stuff. How do I do the launcher? Oh, it's L, it's all them plus plus. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, so we're going to still be Surge, because of course. So, the old lady's tip-off was right on the money. The kind of spell on the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Kid's plain, unadored braid flickered back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the manor's magic shields, moving in closer and closer to Lord Lynx's stronghold. There were three of us, Kid, Magill, and me. Just gotta wait for the new stuff, right? I just have a simple guy. Oh, here we go. This is it. Started to feel very sleepy indeed. I tried and failed to stifle an enormous yawn, and before I knew it, I was asleep. Sedge. Oi, Sedge, I'm talking to you. My head jerked upward as I snapped back to consciousness. Idiot that I was, I'd managed to drift off. As I came back to my senses, I looked up to see the hulking shadow of Lynx's manor looming over us. Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead. We've got work to do. Her words had hardly reached me before she jumped onto the terrace and disappeared within. Wait up, kid! Flustered, I rushed after her. Corridor that stretched off to the left and right from the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. All right, where's our way in? Oh, it's Kid. Kid's casual comments settled our nerves. Whoa, why can't I read right now? Settled our nerves! Magill quietly surveyed our surroundings. Meanwhile, I found myself distracted by how cold the sweat on my forehead felt. It was only when I reached to wipe the sweat from my brow and turn my head slightly that I happened to see it. What do you see? A soft glimmer of light. At least that's what I thought it was that I saw. A gentle glow coming from a decorative window close to the ceiling. But as much as I strained my eyes to try and catch it again, I couldn't. Oi, Serge, you better not be sleeping on the job. We'll leave you for the guards to find. Kid and Magill were already far down the passageway. How long had I been standing there? All right. So, we need to rush after them. It was too early to start trying Kid's patience. Corridor stretched off to the left and right from both directions. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. So we need to go to the study. Okay, I need to also bring up the map then, because I don't 100% remember where it is. Where's the map here? I know there's one on here. Okay. All right. We need to head to the study. I'm just, because, I mean, I could look forever for where to go for this stuff, but no. Okay, so the study is to the left. Okay. We took the corridor leading from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually coming in an intersection with some stairs. The path to the right led down some stairs, the path to the left was a dark passage, and the main corridor continued on. So we need to go to the side passage to the left. I had done the side passage. At the end of it came to an old, immaculately polished door. We'll go inside. Kid gently pushed the door ajar and peeked into the room. Next thing I knew, she'd slipped inside. Magill and I followed. Looks like a study. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams through the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk. Whoa, holy crap, I cannot read. Desk dominating the center. I've been outside working all day. Maybe I got some like paint chips in my face. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings, and shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from foreign lands, so we need to check the desk. I went over to the desk and started searching the drawers. There I found a neatly arranged set of pens, ink bottles, and other writing materials. Nothing of interest, in other words. A small portrait on the desk caught my eye. It was a picture of a young girl with a gentle smile on her lips. Who was she? That's the girl Link's adopted. You ask me, it ain't 'cause he was looking to help the needy, said Kid, peering over my shoulder. She wrinkled her nose in distaste. Not even a looker. Riddell? Magill had appeared next to me, whispering the woman's name. He stared at the portrait in astonishment. What's up, Madge? My questions... Oh, that's him. We say Madge, too. What's up, Madge? My questions seemed to break the portrait's hold on him, and his head came up with a start. He quickly returned to his old, usual, emotionless self. Nothing. I shouldn't have even bothered asking. He wasn't exactly the forthcoming type. Time is of the essence, and we are wasting it. Let us look elsewhere. Turning on his heel, Magill made for the door. Kid and I looked at each other in confusion. What's up with him all of a sudden? Don't ask me. Hey, Madge, wait for us. We followed him out of the study. Alright, now we need to go to Riddell's room, which is down the stairs and to the side. So we want to go to down the stairs. Yes. Slowly we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into blackness as we went. At the bottom of the plaza split. So we don't want to go to the plaza. We want to go to the passageway to the right. Went down the stairs and took our passage to our right. Eventually we came to an ornate door on the right-hand side. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming inside? Well, let's go inside. Flowers smell nice. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and the cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Is there someone there? A woman's voice. We immediately hid ourselves. The woman appeared from deeper within the room. She was lightly made up and had a gentle, unthreatening air about her. It was Lynx's daughter. Strange. I'm sure I heard someone. Luckily, she seemed not to have noticed us. I stilled my breath, watching from the darkness, and then I saw it. The shadows began to flicker and shake. It was... Magill? Was it Magill? It was. He seemed to step out of thin air. Riddell was stunned at the sudden appearance of a strange man in her room. We couldn't let her panic and call for help. I had to think of something to reassure her fast. Okay, so... Wait, hold on. Okay, no, that just says you're good to go. Let's say we're for evening, ma'am. We're from the local paper. Evening, ma'am. Can I call you ma'am? We're here from the Galesburg Chronicle. You've heard of us, right? I said with the most hopeful grin. I haven't, and I don't recall inviting you either. Riddell's reply came quickly. She clearly wasn't convinced. Kid twisted my ear. When are you ever going to learn to lie properly? Riddell looked at me and Kid in turn. Then it dawned on her. What? Who are you? She stepped back, frightened. Magill eyed her compassionately. What? And spoke in a gentle, reassuring tone I'd never heard him use before. I'm sorry that we startled you. We mean you no harm. Please, remain calm. But his words had no effect. Riddell raised her voice. Thieves, burglars, stay away! She was about to scream for help. We had to do something. We gotta gag her. I yanked the sheets from her bed. Kid nodded. Good thinking. A gag's not gonna be enough. We need to wrap her up good and shove her in the cupboard. Before I could move a muscle, Magill had snatched the sheets from my hand with a menacing look. What? But if you're not, then who are you? Magill's intervention had saved Riddell from an uncomfortable predicament, but it hadn't left her any less confused. He looked away, seemingly unable to bring himself to reply. What are you playing at, Madge? You're trying to get us caught. Kid spoke in a low growl, staring daggers at Magill. His shoulders slumped, and then he took a deep breath and turned to Riddell. Riddell. What? You had a best friend as a child, yes? A young boy? What? She stared at him, lost in thought, and then her face came alive with recognition. It can't be. Gilbert? What? You know each other? Kid yelled in surprise despite herself. Oh, Gil, it really is you. It's been so long. Riddell tenderly grasped Magill's hand. This is super non-canon for a variety of reasons. And the moment she did so, something in the shadows surrounding him changed. It was all so sudden. I've always wondered what became of you, always worried for your sake. Her voice was tender and filled with emotion. Unnerved by the sudden change in him, Kid butted in. Oi, Madge, over the frozen flame, remember? Or was that just your nickname for this old flame of yours? The frozen flame, gasped Riddell. It's true. That was my ultimate goal. Until I found you. This was not the Magill I knew. A sense of foreboding came over me and I looked over at Kid. She looked back, seemingly feeling the same way. We turned to Magill again in silence. Our having met tonight is no less than destiny. Fate has brought us together once more. His words became increasingly passionate, making him almost unrecognizable. I started to feel like I might be losing my marbles. I couldn't keep up with this sudden transformation. Kid was shaking her head in disbelief, equally baffled by the scene unfolding before us. But Magill's strange behavior only escalated, testing our connection with reality even further. Ever since I was a child, I have only thought of you, he said, offering Riddell his hand. She batted away. What? No, what are you doing this all so sudden? I promised you, Riddell. Did I not vow that one day we'd be wed? Magill was trembling with emotion. Riddell averted her gaze and looked down at the floor. Maybe she doesn't feel the same way. It was all so long ago. Just wait a moment, will you? She pleaded, shaking her head. Do you no longer like me? Came Magill's timid reply. That's not what I meant, Gil. It's just appearing out of nowhere and asking like that. Did our promise mean nothing to you? Riddell was clearly a little taken aback by Magill's ardor. She replied in a somewhat pained voice. You haven't changed. You never once stopped to think about how I might feel, have you? When I baked you cookies for your 5th birthday, you gave them all the way. At the village fair, you wouldn't dance with me, and these seemed like pretty petty things for a noble woman to hold a grudge about. You misunderstand. I only wanted to show off what a wonderful gift you had given me, and as for the village fair, I was simply too ashamed of my dancing. Magill defended his decades-old actions as if he'd been charged with a crime punishable by death. You come here unannounced with your excuses and expect me to forgive you now after all these years? Riddell was clearly in turmoil. Her long eyelashes glistened with tears. Do you really think you could just show up and start confessing your love and demanding to marry me? Is that how you think ladies like to be treated? Kid put her head on Riddell's shoulder and turned her gaze on Magill. Look, Madge, mate, I get it. You two made a promise and you've stayed true to it all these years, but seriously, she said with a disapproving frown. She didn't even need to say the rest. It was clear she thought this was no way to go about wooing one's intended. Luckily, before they could get any further, a middle-aged woman's voice drifted to us from deep within Riddell's chambers. Lady Riddell, is something the matter? I heard a commotion and came running. Riddell's maid entered the room and the color drained from her face as she laid eyes on us. Ah, milady! Riddell rushed to calm her handmaid before things got more out of hand. Noella, don't panic. It's only Gilbert. You remember him, don't you? As soon as she heard his name, her entire attitude changed. The look of horror on her face slowly melted into a smile, and she stepped close to Magill, as one would to greet a dear old friend. Why, Master Gilbert, what a fine young figure of a man you've become. Give me strength. Kid slumped to the floor, clutching her head in her hands. Magill, meanwhile, exchanged polite pleasantries with the maid, as if nothing could have been more normal. What the heck was he thinking? You're not planning on selling us out, are you? I only muttered my thoughts under my breath, but Kid heard me anyway. He better bloody not be. Oi, Magill, what the heck do you think you're playing at? You don't have time for this, said Kid, snapping out of her brown study. Her brown study? What? The maid barely had noticed Kid until now. She took one look at her and her face turned as white as a sheet. Who is this unseemly girl? You must forgive my rudeness, Miss Noella. Oh. Okay, allow me to introduce my two colleagues. No, frick, no, this is Magill. You must forgive my rudeness, Miss Noella. Allow me to introduce my two colleagues, Kid and Surge. He purred without missing a beat. Oh, goodness, then it's me who's been rude. I hope you can forgive me. I'm Noella, Lady Riddell's personal maidservant. Nice to meet you. Kid and I bowed awkwardly, immediately cursing ourselves for playing along with this farce. I've known Master Gilbert since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. Why, I remember the time he... She seemed to be very much enjoy filling us in on every last detail of Magill's childhood, which, again, there's problems here that make it so that this is very clearly non-canon. We couldn't get a word in edgewise as she chattered on, plus it's a dream, so it all works out. Oh yes, they were like two peas in a pod, these two. They were forever running off to play together in some secret corner or other. Why, no offense, lady, but we really don't have time to be... But Noella cut Kid dead with a look that said the next part was important. Why, I'll never forget them coming back after making their little promise to one another in the flower garden. Yes, it was a beautiful sunny day and summer was in full bloom. The little dears swore to spend the rest of their lives together. With a rapt look in her eyes, Noella continued. And everyone's known ever since then that Lady Riddell's heart belongs to Master Gilbert and no other. Riddell only looked glum. Yes, Noella, because you insist on telling them, which is why I've never received so much as a single offer of marriage. Magill's eyes shone with delight. Kid, who had been crossing her arms on the sidelines, had just lost her patience. She turned to the group, glaring. Listen here, you old bag of bones. I'm the master thief, Kid, and I came here tonight to... But before she could finish, Noella had to cut right back in. You came here tonight to steal off with Lady Riddell, didn't you, you rascals? Goodness, I should put you over my knee and teach you all a lesson, tee-hee-hee. What? No, just shut up, you interfering old bag. I couldn't give a monkey's butt, you precious little Lady Bloody Riddell. Now shut your trapping butt out, will ya? The two glared ferociously at one another while Magill did his best to defuse the situation. It's all right, Noella. She'll be safe with us. Oh, Master Gilbert. He turned to Kid. Come, we have to move quickly. Hang on, what? Kid's eyes met Noella's again. They both realized what Magill had just said. Safe with us? What do you mean, safe with us? You mean you're actually going to run off with her? Taken aback, Magill stammered. Not exactly, But his words were drowned out by the excited yelping. An elopement! Oh, how wonderful, how romantic! I simply must let everyone know! Noella left the room, tripping the light fantastic as she went. What are these phrases? Tripping the light fantastic. We're really breaking open the book of idioms, huh? Magill, you conniving... What about the frozen bloody flame? In a blind rage... Oh my god, rage. Kid seized him by the collar. Riddell, too, seemed less than thrilled by this development, and had finally lost her temper completely. I suppose she couldn't be blamed. It was a bit unfair to hold her to a promise she made when she was only a child, and besides, she was lady of the manor. She'd be leaving a comfortable life behind. I looked at her and thought, she must really hate thieves. A woman of my standing marrying a common thief, the very thought. What? How bloody dare you stuck-up little... Raged Kid. Thieving's a time-honored, respectable career, ain't that right, Madge? Kid looked up to Magill for backup. I'll stop being a thief if you want. I'll stop being a thief if you want, Riddell. I'll earn an honest living. Just please come with us. Madge? His uncharacteristic outburst left us both reeling. Okay, he clearly made up his mind, but since when did we agree to get roped into this? Suddenly, sirens began to go off throughout the manor. That interfering old bag is a bloody doing, I know it, scowled Kid. In a daze, I asked Magill what we should do. We need to move quickly. As I said, come. Riddell seemed more than a little relieved. Yes, you should probably get going. Next time you come, you can do so during the day, and you can come not as a thief, but as a friend. Friend. A friend. Holy crap. Did this game predict the friend zone? Magill repeated the word friend under his breath in what was almost a groan. And then defiantly he rose to his full height. No, I will not give up. A clatter of footsteps came from the hallway. Quick, we need to skedaddle, said Kid. Magill picked up Riddell with little obvious effort and slung her over his shoulder. I'm taking you with me. What? Magill, you can't be serious. Kid stopped dead in her tracks. Eek, put me down. Riddell struggled to break free. Stop that. We have to get out of here. Magill's cape fluttered as he rushed out of the room. Gilbert! Riddell's voice trailed off into the distance. So what do we do now, Kid? We get the bloody hell out of here, that's what. Madge has been on our cover good and proper. We'll have to try another time. This is clown shoes. Look how fast we're moving. We fled from the room as fast as our feet could carry us. However, when the manor's monstrous custodians tried to thwart us, but Magill blazed right through them, knocking them aside like they were nothing. And eventually we managed to escape, though every muscle in my body ached with the exertion. This is incredibly silly. For a moment, the only sound in the quiet of the forest was our ragged breathing. And then, the silence was shattered by an enormous explosion. Pink? Oh, fireworks! We looked up to see fireworks. I gazed at them in wonder. Wait, what's that? Kid could see something else. A row of figures was waving from one of the manor's balconies. I strained my eyes and realized they were cheering, too. Congratulations! 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 May you be happy together forever. Invite us to your housewarming party when you're settled in. And then Kid pointed to the roof of the manor, a look of horror on her face. There he stood, Lynx himself, the lord of the manor, and he was crying. He's the father of the bride's blubbing like a bloody baby. We were all stupefied. Riddell, who had been crying the entire time herself, gently lifted her head. Why did you have to cause such a scene? I'm sorry, Riddell. I may have overdone things a little. With a flick of his wrist, Magill procured a handkerchief, frickin' smooth, and gently dried the tears from her cheeks. Oh, Gil, you haven't changed a bit. She giggled through the sniffles. A warm light began to appear on the horizon. Looks like the night's finally over, said Kid, and with no frozen flame to show for our troubles. Magill, meanwhile, pointed to the rising sun. Look, Riddell, gaze with me upon the dawn of our new life together. Radical Dreamers, Love, Folly, Elopement, the end. Holy crap. These endings are gonna be bonkers, huh? Oh, do we get a different epilogue each time? I closed my grandpa's journal. What the frick? What's he on? And so ends another tale. Perhaps one day I'll Oh, is it gonna be the same? Somewhere another time in another world. Perhaps none of us will even realize it. Wonder if that was in the original translation. The another time in another world, which clearly is talking about Chrono Cross. Wonder if they had that planned, or if they were going to go on with that. Are we gonna get a different one? We're gonna get their kid now. Close my grandfather's diary. Okay, this is so far the same. Did you hear me? Your friend's here. If these don't change, it's fine too. Nimble footsteps charged up the stairs. The door flew open. In tumbled a young girl. Girl seemed somehow familiar. Yeah, this is all gonna be the same. This song is so beautiful, though. Holy crap. It's so good. Like, for a Super Nintendo Satellaview game, like, this game's soundtrack is incredible. And the fact that I've heard these songs, but I've never actually played through this. Like, it's crazy that I've heard these, and yet I can't say I've ever known that they came from this. They must be remixed in Chrono Cross, and I might have heard it there. That's a possibility. Or just on general video game radio stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to let you guys sit through the credits. Once we're done here, I will get back in and we'll honestly, with how long some of these endings are, we might have to do more than a couple videos. So yeah, we'll see you for that. All right, there we go. We got the second one done. Magil Love, Folly, Elopement. Oh, is it going to each be tied to different characters? That's intriguing. That's really interesting, actually. I'm also probably want to make a save file that I can like just put right there, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to put one at the bottom there. So I'm going to hit continue. And let's start off with Surge. There we go. And then from there, I am going to make a save. Oh, it shows the ending count with a kangaroo. Bit of a strange choice. All right, so this time we're making our way through, and actually this time we don't want to go to sleep, which is strange. Okay. So we want to stay awake. What was wrong with me? I'd nearly fallen asleep. I needed to be more careful. Kid would have crucified me for napping on the job. I gave my head a shake as I tried to keep the wooziness at bay. What a strange sensation this was to find myself in, being here now in this place of all places. God, that hits me all the time. It all began not out long after I met Kid. Okay, so this is the same. It's in the Outlands in a town called Rajoria. Misadventures. Kid. She was a thief. Not just any thief. Just a few moments shy of 17. Okay. And a dab hand. I want to get out of her dabbing. Yeah, she's no Robin Hood. Right? Okay, place my hand over. I glanced over my shoulder to see a shadow hovering. That's Magill. He's interesting. Okay. So we're going to... I guess... What? Okay. None of these matter, I guess. I guess you could say that some days it shines and some days it rains. Even if today's one of the rainy days, the sun has to show its face sooner or later, right, kid? Totally. I might be stuck thieving today, but one day I'll be stinking rich and then I can... Yeah, nice. She was thinking of the number 69. Kid muttered gleefully to herself. She got the wrong end of the stick. Money isn't everything. You say something, Serge? Nothing. Good, keep it that way. She marched off in a huff. Hey, don't walk so fast, kid. I hurried forlorningly after her. Hang on, what's that? Kid was straining her eyes to look at something in the trees to her right. There's something shining in there. I tried to see what she was talking about, but all I could make out were trees, overgrowth, and darkness. In other words, nothing out of the ordinary, considering that was all we'd seen so far. Are you sure I don't see anything? No, I'm sure it was bright, whatever it was. Kid's right eye narrowed like a cat's. Alright, so, we do want to check it out. Magill stood next to Kid and followed her gaze. We're deep in Lord Lynx's territory. I trust you're well aware that one false step could very well be our last. Not saying a word in reply, Kid continued to look deep into the trees of the forest. Do you sense something? His gaze returned to her face. She briefly looked at him, then back to the forest. Very well. If another path awaits us, so be it. Perhaps we'll find something interesting. Without waiting for Magill to finish, Kid darted into the thick overgrowth as if he'd let go of a string that was holding her back, literally as if she was one of those like kids that wear the parent harnesses. And Magill just let go. Wait up, kid! I made to run after her. Be on your guard, Serge. There's something wicked in the air tonight. Oh no, that was Magill. I gave him a quick nod before plunging headlong into the darkness. Okay, we're out here. Much to my surprise, we found it almost immediately. A golden beetle perched on a large tree. There it is! Cried Kid, and she immediately started shimming up the tree after it. It did have something of a golden sheen to it, I suppose, but I was still impressed that she managed to notice it from far away. She had a keen eye, sure enough, but at least when it came to things she wanted to see. I looked up to see how Kid was getting on. Wow, she's fast, I commented out loud. She already made it high up into the branches and was about to grab the beetle. Yeah! But the moment she reached out her hand, it spread its wings and flew away. Get back here! She reached out further and tried to catch it, but lost her balance. I jumped in and tried to catch her. Watch out! I rushed in to try and break her fall. Her body started spinning as she hurtled down toward me. Uh-oh, I thought, this is gonna hurt, and threw myself out of the way at the last moment. And it was lucky I did. She landed gracefully on the ground like a cat. All I would have gotten for my trouble was a foot in the face. Kid, get back here, you! You're my ticket to riches! Ignoring me completely, she ran after the beetle. Ugh. Why couldn't she ever look at me like she looked at that beetle? It's a really good line. Oh my god. We ran in the forest chasing after what may or may not have been the legendary golden beetle. We hadn't seen it again since it vanished. How was Kid tracking it? Had I asked her, she probably would have said she was following her nose for treasure. She stopped in her tracks. Had she found it? Oi, are you pissing? Kid thumped me over the head. For crying out loud, how old are you, Serge? I should have kept my trap shut. Struth. Oh, that is super Australian. Holy crap. I knew you were thick, but I didn't think you were that thick. Can't you feel it? Something's wrong here. Very wrong. Tried my hardest to sense what she was talking about. Well, you feel anything? Yeah, I feel like I got a pierce. Yeah, my forehead hurts. Well, I'm not bloody surprised. Who told you screwing your eyebrows into a knot like that would help with anything? Kid thumped me on the head. Gee, thanks, kid. How was I supposed to know how to sense stuff? Nobody ever taught me. Kid ignored me and turned to the highly conspicuous sunflower that had caught her attention. Ah! I screamed in horror at the sight that greeted me. What the frick? Huh? What? Hello? Droopy eyes. What? Not unlike those of a drunkard. Long purple eyelashes, a large aquiline nose, think pink lips. The face of a heavily made-up man had materialized in the center of the sunflower's petals. Magill! I've seen something like this before. What was it called? Unperturbed by the strange sight before us, Magill calmly sifted through his memories of magical flora and fauna. He seemed to know what this thing was. It was classic Magill. Not only was he a skilled fighter, but he also had a mind like an encyclopedia. Sadly, looking things up always took him forever. How many times have we found ourselves in mortal peril while he sat there pondering?
Well, and what do we have here? A magnificent evening for a stroll, wouldn't you say, fair maiden?
The sunflower turned to Kid and spoke. Its speech was as unsettling as it looks. A chill ran down my spine. "I'm your fair maiden, you creepy old lech," spat Kid.
Forgive me, child, forgive me. I was simply struck by the sight of your deliciously slender figure slinking through the trees, and I felt compelled to greet you.
Gross. You keep your thoughts about me figure to yourself, perv.
Of course, my dear, of course.
It was clear from his tone they had no intention of complying, and it was equally clear that Kid was having none of it. Shoulders trembling with irritation, her dagger flashed as she whipped it from her belt. You know what happens to sunflowers who stick their stalks out and start shoot? You're really gonna call it that? Start shooting their mouths off like dirty old men? They get pruned. It all seemed a bit excessive. I mean, it wasn't like it could have followed us if we just ignored it and walked off. But Kid had made up her mind. The dagger she'd been brandishing flashed from left to right in an instant.
Yeah.
The sunflower let loose a horrible screech like 1,000 cats all scratching on glass at once. I felt weak in the knees, and for a moment my mind went blank.
Goodness me, this will not do at all, fair slender maiden. Wanton violence ill becomes you.
What? Kid had definitely cut the flower's head off, and sure enough, there it lay on the ground, but a new flower had sprung up in its place and was chattering on as if nothing had happened. That's terrifying.
The behavior of a lady.
Gah! Once again, Kid lashed out with her dagger, and once again, I was brought to my knees by that awful screech.
This is really outrageous. To think that such a delicate flower could behave.
Oh wait, no. That's us. This is really outrageous to think such a delicate flower could behave so boorishly. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I hate that. Can we stop? Can you not? Kid quickly set about hacking the head off that one, but a new one appeared in its place and another as soon as she sliced that one down too. Stop, Kid, this screeching. It's gonna drive me mad. I knew she wouldn't take it well, but we gotta stop her. That's enough, stop! I wrapped my arms around her and tried to pull her back, but she barely seemed to hear me, shaking me off and sending me sprawling to the floor. Well, that didn't go exactly to plan. I tried to stop her again like a minnow trying to fight back the tide. Kid! The result was the same, except this time she really sent me flying.
Have you quite finished, my slender suspot? You'll tire yourself out swinging that around like a lunatic.
Kid's shoulders heaved as she panted, exhausted. She flung the dagger to the ground in frustration.
Now I remember. That's a mandrake monster. Whatever you do, you must...
Oh no, this is this... Magill? Yes.
That's a mandrake monster. Whatever you do, you must not try to cut it down, and under no circumstances whatsoever should you try to pull it from the ground.
Magill had finally remembered, and just like always, it was far too late.
Yeah!
Kid gave an almighty roar as she grabbed the sunflower stalk and began ripping it from the earth. The corner of its mouth turned upwards in an unsettling grin. Oh no. And then, the ground around its roots began to heave and crack. Kid! There's a crashing all around us as the trees collapsed, and before I knew it, Kid had vanished into a crevice in the lurching earth. Debris and fallen trees blocked my view as the world closed in around me. But at the last moment, I felt a tug on my arm and was plucked from the jaws of death. Magill? He was soaring through the air with me under his arm. Pull yourself together. We need to get out of here. What about Kid? One thing at a time. Magill landed at the edge of the dome-like cloud of dust and soil that had erupted. I jumped into the cloud. The moment Magill let go, I made to jump into the dust cloud, but his heavy hand clamped down on my shoulder. Now was not the time for hasty action. The dust is too thick to see anything at all, let alone pick out Kid. Wait until it settles. He was right. I wouldn't be able to find her in all that dust, especially in a state of panic. I had to keep my cool. Whoa, what am I looking at? Once the cloud had begun to dissipate, I saw a single massive silhouette. What was it? Whatever it was, it hadn't been there a few moments earlier. And then the air cleared and the moonlight cut through the darkness, revealing... Oh, frick! Did they fuse? Kid! I could only scream her name at what I saw. It was a colossal monster, 7 or 8 times my size. A hulking beast covered in exposed muscle and ivy, with hands and feet that resembled the sharp pincers of a crustacean. Around its neck was a golden scarf of sunflower petals, but instead of a head it had... Mind where you're looking, Surge. In the heat of the moment, I had no idea what Magill was getting at, and then I finally made sense of what I was seeing. The monster had no head. Instead, there was a sunflower from which the top half of Kid's body was protruding, and she was as good as naked. Well, not entirely naked. Her chest was covered with 2 small sunflowers. Magill broke me free from the horror. If we don't help her fast, the creature created by her rage will consume her. She will die. She'll die? I felt my heart twist inside me. I stared at Kid. Her face was expressionless and her eyes were hollow, gazing at nothing at all. Her upper body was naked except for a couple of dainty sunflowers covering her chest. Her lower body was buried deep inside the monster's scarf of sunflower petals, making it impossible to see where Kid ended and the creature began. Her skin had changed to color to grassy green. What am I doing? Something told me I'd get in trouble later on if I kept staring. But I couldn't help. I took another look. Her face was expressionless, gazing nothing at all, naked except for the flowers. Okay, yeah. What am I doing? Okay. Magill, how do I save her? What should I do? How do we save her? The more I thought about the possibility of Kid dying, the more I panicked. Calm down, my saucer-eyed friend. There is a way. Kid is enthralled to her rage, and it is that which binds her to the monster. To free her, we must free her from her anger. And how do we do that? Simple. Yeah? What's so simple? With love. Oh my god. Love? Yes, love. It's the only way. I will begin the preparations. In the meantime, you must protect her and make her feel your love. Oh, and don't let her cast too many spells. What? Kid can't use magic? She can now. It was a straightforward answer, but it didn't explain much. Good luck, Surgeon. Remember, show her your love. I'm saving. Oh, wait. Oh, shoot. Okay, wait. I didn't do that, but okay, I'm saving here. I want to make sure I get this correct. I shouted, don't let me download here, Magill. I shouted, but it's too late. He was gone. I was all alone. Love. The word echoed in my mind, and with it, a faint sense of embarrassment. How was I supposed to make her feel my love? As I stood there pondering, I heard a murmuring overhead. You're gonna say something? Deliciously Sandy, saying I'm some kind of skinny thing? How many times I ain't little? Everybody else is just too bloody big, that's all. Take the mick out of me, will you? How dare you? How bloody dare you? I'll kill you. I'll kill you all. Oh boy. Fire blazed in her eyes as Kid let out a mighty howl, and then her gaze locked with mine. Without saying another word, her beastly lower half brought its mighty... Okay, I'm gonna take the blow. I managed to roll aside at the last moment. The enormous hammer crashed to the ground, setting up a plume of dust. Take the blow, I'm too young to die. What the heck is that? A group of 3 goblin guards appeared behind the monster. They must have come running when they heard the noise. And what the heck's it doing with our human stuck in the middle of it? Kid's jaw tightened grimly. She spun around and... Negazol, fireball! Cried Kid. Oh no, she's casting spells! Magill warning echoed in my mind. Dang, an actual, like, fireball effect. Kid's massive fireball incinerated 3 goblins, instantly turned them to ash. Oh, I looked at Kid again, and a hand ran down my chest. I had no idea what was going on, but I was glad that she didn't seem to be hurt. Oh, your hand. But that spell, I'd seen Magill throw the odd fireball, but never one so massive. What's more, she let it fly like it was the most natural thing in the world. While I was trying to process what I'd seen, her monstrous form yelled, "I love you!" Make her feel your love, that's what Magill had said. I wasn't sure what the best course of action was, so I decided to do the first thing came to mind. I love you! I yelled as loud as I could. I didn't have time to be embarrassed. Suddenly, a shadow eclipsed the moon. Wait! In a panic, I jumped away. The next moment, her foot came crashing down where I'd been standing only a second earlier. I fled, plunging blindly through the forest. Behind me, I could hear the sounds of trees splintering and cracking as the monster charged after me, pounding the earth with its mighty feet. Who puts their man in a place like this? And who grows monster sunflowers in their stupid death forest? I yelled at no one in particular. Just as I was beginning to lose steam, I saw the trees start to thin. The edge of the forest was in sight, but was I really going to be safer there? Let's see. Oh? What? I soon had my answer. I emerged from the trees to see a squad of goblin guards arrayed around a cannon that must have been about 3 or 4 times as big as me. I guess it made sense to come out in force when there was a raging monster on the doorstep, but that cannon was definitely not going to make my life easier.
Oi, you! Yes, you, the human boy!
The goblins clearly weren't happy to see me. Inspiration struck and I ran over to them. Already out of breath, I used the last of my strength to run over the goblins and fell to my knees. Before me stood the goblin captain, wearing a spiked helmet and a suit of armor emblazoned with Lynx's coat of arms. I looked up. He was glaring down at me with his beady little eyes, and he seemed like he might be about to brain me with the mace he carried. I felt uneasy about what I was doing, but it was my only chance. I had to do this if I didn't want to get my skull caved in. Please, help me. We were in the forest trying to catch a golden beetle, and a monster attacked us and took my friend. I tried to help her, but there was nothing I could do. Please, I'm begging you, help my friend. She's the most important person in the world to me. I begged for mercy, putting on the saddest face I could muster. The goblin captain's eyes softened.
Is that right? So this monster's got your friend, has it? All right, boy, say no more. We'll help her, just you say.
Thank you. Just goes to show that you really can't tell with goblins. And what a relief was it to know that they weren't going to fire that gigantic cannon of theirs, or so I thought.
Oh ho! What?
Oh no.
A golden beetle, you say? Another treasure for my dearest kid to go chasing after, is it? How lovely. Your merry crew will be laughing all the way to the bank if you could.
Wait. Is that voice? Wait.
What did he say, kid? A little street rat thief?
Oh no, it'd been going so well, but who was it that had just ruined everything? Yeah, who was it? From behind the goblin captain, a phantasmagoric light appeared, bathing our surroundings in vivid colors and patterns. And then a figure emerged, hair rising from its head like a column of green smoke. It wore a purple cape over a suit with red and green stripes like some kind of stage magician. And then I saw its face.
It's you, the sunflower! Who are you calling sunflower, boy?
The stupid plant was playing dumb. I was just about ready to, then I realized that it wasn't it. This was definitely a human, so why did his face look just like the sunflowers? As I stood there dazed, I was suddenly pinned by 2 goblin guards.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure. You, of course, are an accomplice of kids. I, on the other hand, am Prune. Prune. Don't misspell my name on the Google. Not familiar? Known to some as the green-haired horror?
Okay.
Feds throughout the land, still not ringing any bell?
How am I supposed to keep track of every freak around here? I snapped back at my frustration getting the better of me.
Freak? How dare you call me such a thing? I am a performer, an artist, and you quite clearly are a Philistine.
Oh, spare me the theatrics, I screamed inwardly. He may have not been the sunflower, but he's every bit as irritating.
No matter, I will teach you to know me. I shall rock your heart with the most turgid, trenchant fear you have ever known, and when I have done so, you will never be able to forget me. Yes, when I kill kid, you will know true terror. A fear that can only be matched by the horror of farting in the bath and seeing the bubbles come floating inexorably toward your face.
You're no match for Kid. It was out of my mouth before I could stop it, but it was true. With Kid in her current state, he couldn't stand a chance.
You're absolutely right, dear boy. I don't know where exactly she pulled that little trick from, but with Monster Kid on the prowl, I've certainly got my work cut out for me. However,
Prune thrust a finger toward the giant cannon.
I have the hyper magic cannon on my side. Never mind her feeble frazzle blasts. A single fireball from this old girl will be more than enough to erase her from existence.
He beamed with pride. Hyper magic. I've never heard of such a thing. I just thought it was a massive gun. Not looking at it properly, it was see that the barrel was made up of a series of colorful spheres. There was no visible fuse. Instead, numerous cables sprawled like ivy down its sides, connected to a pedestal on which embedded a crystal ball.
Come, it's coming!
The Goblin Guard's cry felt like a death sentence.
Alright, Maestro, if you could do the honors with the cannon.
The cannon beckoned Prune over. I think I did that one wrong. Stop! You've got to stop! I struggled, trying to free myself from the grip of the Goblin Guards, but they were too strong. Pain shot up my arms, and my eyes welled up with tears.
Alas, I've been enjoying our little chat. As much as I've been enjoying our little chat, I'm afraid that business must come before pleasure. Shall we pick up where we left off in a little while? But perhaps you can help me with something first. What shall I say to Kid before I let her have it?
Oh, this is gonna make her mad.
Adieu, my slender susspot. Oh, it is simply splendid. Very well. This is what I shall say when I fire the cannon. Who would have thought that it would be your idea, though? She must have really put you through the ringer.
Grinning with mad gusto, Prune skipped over to the pedestal connected to the cannon. Stop! 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 My agonized screams echoed around us like those of a dying man. I thought I glimpsed a shadow of doubt crossing the Goblin Captain's eyes, but Prune was completely unmoved. He placed his hands on the crystal ball.
Gentlemen, start your engines! Nura, Ziana, Zebazol, fire my pretty, pretty fireball! Adieu, my slender susspot!
The cannon shone with vivid light, then belched out a tremendous fireball. She's gonna bat that away. The flaming spear raced toward Kid as she emerged from the trees. It was a direct hit. The flames from the explosion engulfed everything around her, and I was blasted by searing hot wind.
Kid! I've done it, I've finally slain that beastly little wretch. Oh, it's been so long, I remember the last time she came here, and all the trouble she put me through, but now there's nothing to worry about anymore, oh no!
All I could hear was Prune's cackling laughter.
Kid!
I grabbed at the ground and pulled up fistfuls of earth. I was devastated. Devastated and achingly frustrated that I haven't been able to do anything.
Captain!
Good. Cries of horror came from a number of Goblin Guards at once. A gigantic figure was staggering out of the raging flames. Oh, she's so mad. Kid, the monster emerged from the fire unscathed, and there she was on top of it, alive and well. I put my hand to her chest and breathed a ragged sigh of relief. Of course, a spell-slinging dandy like that hadn't been able to do Kid in, but it was too early to start celebrating.
Why didn't it work?
Prune ran toward me with an enraged look of disbelief in his eyes. His smug grin was gone, and beads of sweat trickled down from his temples.
What wild magics did that little wretch command?
I could tell. Sorry, old boy, trade secret. In a moment of spite, I answered back in his own annoying tone. Prune's face turned red as beetroot.
Ah, you petulant little... I'll make you spit it out.
He picked me up by the collar and shook me, and then... A keening scream pierced the night like the howl of a wolf. A cold chill ran down my spine. It was Kid, but not Kid. The flames vanished in an instant, leaving a silent blanket of fear to settle over proceedings. Oh, yo! Oh, ye dead and rotting denizens of the dark. As grandiose as the spell sounded, it was Kid's voice. Is she poppin' Dragon Slave? No.
No ends, you haven't seen a lowly street urchin on a spell like that.
Moments before, Prune's face had been incandescent with apologetic rage, now as white as a sheet. He hurriedly muttered a few words under his breath, and then...
Goodbye for now, my loves.
He flashed across the sky in an instant, and he was gone. Their trump card lost, the goblins panicked.
Back into the battle! Back now!
Shrieked the goblin captain. The other goblins dropped everything they were carrying and fled inside. I stood there alone on the grass, surrounded by discarded swords and maces. What was I going to do now? Made a run for it. Guide my hand, O rage and envy. Gather unto me and become as a myriad of black prayers. Oh boy. I was alone and I had no way to stop Kid. I was in a whole lot of trouble. Guess I'll run for my life, I thought, and tried to flee toward the mansion. but I was stopped by a heavy hand on my shoulder.
And what will become of Kid if even you desert her?
That voice! It was the one person I needed the most. I turned around. Magill! The moment I laid eyes on him, I was stunned. Hello? His right shoulder was exposed, revealing his sinewy physique. The rest of him was draped in a set of sparkly silver robes. He looked like a monk from some exotic temple. Yo, light Magill. On top of that, a ring of pure light hovered at his back, seemingly suspending him in the air. Don't tell me you left me on my own so you could go and change outfits! For a moment, I completely forgot everything and demanded an answer to the question that was first and foremost in my mind. Magill went completely silent, and then pondering, he turned his gaze toward Kid.
It does seem as though things had got out of hand, I must admit.
I balled my hands into fists, then unclenched them. Now was the time to worry about Kid, not Magill's newfound... What the frick is that word? Insouciance? What is that word? Insouciance?
Insouciance.
Insouciance. Lack of concern or indifference. Wow. How am I supposed to make her feel my love?
Wait. We must leave this place first.
He grabbed me by my hand, muttered a brief incantation, and off we flew. The ground disappeared from beneath us, and then we stopped in midair. I looked over the manor below. Yes? Alchemist, the fallen, heed my call and grant me your power. Oh boy. Oh, she's still saying the spell. A pale blue light coalesced around the monster and pooled in Kid's hands. Bring death to all that lives, destroy all that exists. Veil all light in your shadow. Phantom. Break. Phantom break? Why does that sound familiar? Jeez, that's a noise. Okay, so I googled it and nothing else came out, so we're good. I was like, that sounds familiar, but nope, there's nothing else in Chrono Trigger with that name. A pallid wave of energy surged forth and 1,000 maddened cries howled as it raced across the ground, devouring everything in its path. All things once blessed by the light were consumed by the spell's evil, and the entire manor melted away like shadows, into shadows like thawing ice. She destroyed the manor? Whoa! Okay. Like a monstrous snake, the vile energies writhed and thrashed as they consumed the land, pulling all that they had touched into the black depths beneath. I was stunned by what I had just witnessed. If it wasn't for Magill, I couldn't bear to think about it. A massive crevice was all that was left of the manor. It seemed so deep that at the moment I thought it must reach all the way down to hell itself. I scanned the surroundings for Kid, then caught sight of her near the precipice, but she was too far away for me to be able to tell if she was all right. It seems she was able to withstand the effects of the incantation, but she must surely be reaching the limits of her endurance. Magill's words echoed in my ears. A surge of panic and fear welled up in my heart. Magill, what's gonna happen to Kid?
Just shut up for a moment, you irritating brat.
My mind went blank. I'd never heard Magill snap like that before.
That seems to have calmed you down a little. Good.
I paused for a moment, then realized that I was feeling a good deal less frantic. I'm gonna save again, just in case. I don't want to hit an early ending on this. But surely there was a nicer way to pull me back from the edge.
Now, why don't we begin by giving you your own spell of flight?
Magill muttered another short incantation and let go of me. My body felt light as I floated in front of him.
Envision where you want to go and your body will take you there.
I practiced a few short movements in the air.
Now, give me your knife.
I pulled my dagger from my belt and handed it over. Magill took a white jewel from his robes and held it closely to the knife. He muttered yet another incantation and it vanished in the handle. And he returned it to me.
As I told you before, Kid and the monster's body are joined by rage. There can be no saving her as long as that link remains in place. As I also told you, you must make her feel your love in order to break the link.
But how? How am I supposed to do that? I pressed him for an answer, my frustration rising again.
With a kiss. It's usually the most effective way,
he announced dryly. I tensed for a moment, then relaxed. Well, if that was the only way. Why didn't you tell me that sooner? I slapped Magill on the back of the head. His gold mask slipped off and fell into the abyss of night. It's the first time I'd ever hit him. His silvery hair... Silvery? Okay. Hair fluttered in the moonlight and two pale blue eyes gazed back at me. It's also the first time I'd seen his face. For a man, he was staggeringly beautiful. It wasn't a feminine beauty. No, it was a harder edged in a way I couldn't explain. But it was beauty nonetheless. True beauty. I stared at him, lost in reverie, and then he lifted his hand and brought it crashing down on my head in an almighty chopping motion. Are you listening? The pain brought me back to reality. I understood. Now wasn't the time to be bewitched by my ally's preternaturally good looks. I had to concentrate on what he was telling me. If we allow Kid to recite that spell one more time, she'll be forever lost to us. So get down there and kiss her. If you find yourself unable to do that, then stab her with your knife before she can finish the incantation. The jewel I embedded in it is enchanted with the power to absorb souls. Well, possibly a rather brutal means of saving her. It is our only other option. Thought about what he just told me, so I had two choices. Kissing her was the best option, but could I really just go and do that? But if I didn't kiss her... Magill spoke again, interrupted my panicked ponderings. I'll prepare preparations for the rite. During this time, I will not be able to help you. What? I thought Magill would be coming along to look out for me, but no. I was gonna have to go and face Kid on my own. Alright, I'll do it. I'll go and save her. That's a spirit, Surge. Hold on to that determination. You will need it. I felt Magill's stunning blue eyes staring into my soul. Then I found myself lost in those beautiful pools of light. Now go. Show me the power of love. I felt my body overwhelmed by Magill's most powerful of spells. My cheeks grew hot. No, I had to focus. Kid. I need to think about Kid. Don't think about kissing Magill. Yes, the confidence to go down there and do what needed to be done. The bravery to stand firm in the face of adversity. I was filled with determination. Absolute determination to save her. Magill gave me a magnificent grin and I descended from the sky. Go to her. Yo, this is the most insane alternate ending I think I've ever seen in a visual novel. This is amazing. I flew through the air, rushing toward her. She must have noticed me because she looked up. Her face was crisscrossed with angry red marks. The monstrous claws of her lower half reached up to snatch me from the air. I dodged just before they struck and flew up an arm straight toward Kid. Her lips moved as fast. I rushed in as I could to cover her mouth. I've got to stop before it's too late. I raced through the air, my right hand in front of me, and clamped it over her mouth just moments before it was too late. I went straight in for a kiss. I moved my hand to her cheek and went in for the kiss, but she cut me off with the right hand and started pushing my face back. I pulled back for a moment, but before I had time to think about what to do, her monstrous lower half was swinging its enormous claw. I moved in closer. There's no point in hitting back. It was now or never. I tried to move in for the kiss. I shoved Kid's arm aside and moved in close to her face. Clonk, our foreheads banged together. For a moment, everything went dark. I felt something being removed from my belt. And there was a flash of light as something raced toward my chest to dodge the blow. Uh-oh. I didn't click in time. Uh-oh. It all happened in an instant. Uh-oh. The knife hanging from my belt was in Kid's hands, and then it was sticking out of my chest. It didn't hurt. My chest burned, my heart felt cold. Kid. The warmth of my feelings for her was consumed by the merciless frost that took hold of my heart. No! The gem embedded in the hilt began to glow. My mind suddenly awoke from the haze that had fallen over to me into a state of perfect clarity. I reached for Kid's face. I put a hand to her cheek, then pressed my lips against hers. Yo, there's CG! Come back, Kid. I love you, I thought. I concentrated on that thought only. We're super gonna die. We're super gonna die. We're gonna super die super hard. What? The brown leaves of the trees scattered buried the ground underneath. There was a hut in the mountains that surrounded the forest. It was built by a man from a nearby village, but he only used it when he was out chopping wood. He was at home that evening, and the hut was empty. The door of the hut opened from the inside, and a man with a heavy frame stepped out. He walked down the stairs and along a narrow path. He was clearly not from the village. His black garments gave him away, but it was the mask he wore that was the most obvious sight. Inside the hut was a girl. She lay curled up under a blanket, her back to the door. The girl wasn't sleeping. Her shoulders were shaking gently. Kid was crying. She wept, clutching a knife with a white gem embedded in its hilt. Magill told me everything that had happened. Surge. Oh!
Surge sacrificed himself to save me. Now all that's left of him is his soul, trapped inside of a gem. Madge said that gems like these were used in ancient times to give life to demonoids, artificial life forms created using magic. If we can find a demonoid, we'll be able to use the gem to bring Surge back. Magill and me need to get out there and find one. But for now, I just want to cry. All I can do is cry.
Magill didn't tell her how Surge's soul ended up in the gem, but Kid knew. She remembered. And she remembered what his final thoughts were, too. Oh, dang. Come back, Kid.
愛してる。本当に愛してる。さよなら、キッド。
So apparently there are 3 different endings for this ending. Will this count as one of the endings? Like will we get a thing saying you got the ending? We'll have to see. Cause I kind of want to make it be the better ending. Which thankfully I made a save there, right? So that's good. If I can just redo that end part, then I'll try that again. And prune again? Why prune? Why prune? Wait. Is prune in Chrono Cross? No. I don't see prune at all. Prune literally doesn't even come up on Google searches for this game. That's buck wild, yo. Close my grandfather's diary. From downstairs I heard my mother calling. Is this gonna change? Is it gonna be, come on, prune, let's go? I swear to God. Ain't tumbled a young girl. If it's gonna be, come on, prune, let's go! I'm gonna scream. No, it's still Surge, okay. Okay, so I want to reload that and try again. Well, let's go. It was LR and then start, right? And that will take me to the launcher. I could do that. Let's see if it labels it as a different ending though, because if it does, then we'll get the other ones. Like if it unlocks them as sub endings. So we'll see. That was a case of literally because I was reading, I didn't do it in time. Which hasn't happened because I've been reading pretty quickly. All right. Oh, he's gone, isn't he? That's really sad. All right. Once this finishes, I'll see about if I can just reload. All right. So it does count as just the same ending regardless. However, let's go for the better ending. Let's try and kiss her. This time let's talk to her nicer, right? And this time let's go all the way through. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off with this again. I'm also gonna just like pop another save right by the right before we go on in. It'll be after we really get into what he looks like. We're just like, whoa, right? Well, actually, wait. One sec. When it said he had silver hair, I'm curious about that. Okay, no, wait, no, he does. Never mind. That's on me. He does. Okay. He does have silver hair. Okay, so. Right. Did I say who he was? I think it's pretty... I did, didn't I? It's pretty obvious at this point, yeah. So. I mean, yeah, it's... If I saw Magus too, I'd be like, bro. This is nice, because you don't get a lot of him in Chrono Trigger, so we get a lot of him in these funnier situations, right? Alright, so I'm just going to... I'm going to pop a couple saves, right? Just to be like, make sure that we're good. Alright, 2 choices. Kissing her, but okay, I'm not going to stab her, right? I want to kiss her. I'm gonna do this till I kiss her and it works right. Alright, I'll go and save her. Alright. So let's pop that save again. Alright. I got this. What? How is he so... And here's the thing. Because we didn't fall asleep, doesn't that mean that this one actually can happen? That this is actually his personality? Go to her. Okay, so I'm gonna mash that to see if I can save here. Can I save again? Or am I not in safe territory? Let's see here. Nope, we can't save now. Okay. Alright, this time. So, lips began moving. I rushed in to cover her mouth. Okay, clamped it in front of her mouth, just moments through. I said a few words. Kid. I never thought our first kiss would happen. Like, her hands wrapped around my throat. I grabbed her, tried to tear him away. She was impossible to There's no way an ordinary mortal like me could escape her grasp. But I heaved desperately, her arms nonetheless. Then miraculously, her fingers slipped. I took the opportunity to free my neck and spin around behind her. I pulled back for a moment, but as I had time, her monstrous lower half was swinging. I moved in closer. There was no point now or never. I tried to go in for the kiss, shoved him aside. Clonk, her forehead's banged, everything went dark. I felt something being removed, and then there was a flash of light. I dodged and moved in. She looked forward as the knife swept through the air. I moved in round, and this last chance, if I don't do it now, I'll be dead. I pressed my lips to hers. I put my left arm around her shoulder and held her chin, and then pressed my lips to hers. We did it, gamers. We got the kiss. We do it. Please, kid, I prayed. I pray with all my heart and soul. This is such a wish fulfillment ending. It's so good. People hate this shit, but I love it. I love it so much. Well done, Surge. Now, hold on. Wait, well done, Surge. Now, hold on tight. Leave the rest to me. I opened my eyes. Oh, no, it was Kid. No, it was her. Kid's face was still right there in front of me and looked like the kiss must have worked, but her gaze was vacant and her body was limp. Fearful for her well-being, I held on to her. Or no, that was Magill. I held on to her tightly, just as Magill had instructed. He, meanwhile, was up above us, floating there with his arms crossed, the moon full at his back. He looked like an imposing gold statue. Suddenly, the clouds beneath his feet parted. He began falling to the ground as if gravity's pull had finally caught up with him. Whoa, 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 whoa. The moon calls to me, my lady calls to me. Slay the demon, she cries. Suffused with lunar might, I strike by her command this impurity to smite. What am I looking at? I can't even see him. Can you make this sprite stop moving? Reap my foes, almighty crescent. I can't see him. He can't move him. The ring on Magill's back glowed with an even more brilliant light as he raised his foot high over his head. And then his heel flashed like blinding moonlight as it plummeted toward Kid. Can I see what that sprite looked like, or are you just gonna make it be... Oh, is he doing... the biggest... He's doing a massive overhead! Dramatic pause! The biggest overhead! Demon slaying heel of her lunar majesty! What? Huge glowing cracks appeared in the body of the monster running down from Kid's torso. Her body collapsed into my arms as the spell was broken. And then a powerful light erupted from deep inside the creature, spreading throughout its hulking mass before pulling inward as it imploded, taking the monster with it. He did the biggest overhead. All that remained was a small mote of light which rose up into the sky and vanished. What the frick? Kid drifted into unconsciousness in my arms. Her skin had regained its normal rosy complexion and the greenish tint was no more. You'll be okay now, I whispered to her. Be at ease. She will come to once her spirit settles. Oh, and cover her with this before she wakes. I fear we may find ourselves in a rather prickly situation otherwise. Magill offered me a silver cape. He was right. If we left her naked, she'd have her guts for garters. I quickly snatched the cape from Magill's hand and wrapped it around her body. She was back with us! My heart pounded as I watched her face. She was starting to open her eyes. Hi, kid. My voice shook as I spoke. Such? She looked around groggily as if waking from a dream. And then, a short moment after our joyful reunion... Oh boy. Of course, right there, right? We knew it was gonna happen. Right? Immediately. Felt a dull thud, and the pain echoed through my head as if struck by a hammer. What the hell, kid? You only just woke up. I looked over to Magill, who seemed to have made a timely exit. The jerk had left me alone. At that moment, I wished bitterly that I too could sink into the shadows. Kid looked at me, trying her best to focus. So you even kissed me, didn't you? I realized I was as good as dead. How did she even remember that? She fixed me with a gaze that was unsettlingly reminiscent of the sunflower monster. I saw everything, and yes, I did. I could do nothing but confess my sins and hope for mercy. Kid seized me by the collar.
I knew it. I bloody well knew it.
She began to slap me back and forth across the face with her free hand.
You bastard! No one's ever seen me naked before, and no one's ever kissed me before either. You bastard! You other bastard! How bloody dare you!
She kept slapping me as she screamed, and I couldn't tell if she was angry or just upset. And then she stopped. Finally, she's finished. I thought, maybe this will all blow over in a few years. And then I realized why she'd stopped.
Don't you dare look, you scumbag!
She screamed, threatening to pierce my eardrums. Her fist smashed into my jaw. My body was briefly airborne before crashing to the ground. She rushed to pick up the fallen cape and covered herself again. And then, just then, something rolled along the ground toward her feet. Those black and white stripes. It was clearly a sunflower seed, but it was as big as a fist. What? Seeing this only poured more fuel in the flames of her wrath. She flew into a blind rage, screaming every obscenity known to man as she jumped and stamped on the seed, and then she grabbed it and hurled it into the air with all her might.
Nuega fireball!
A blast of flame shot from her hands. Actually, she would know how to do that. It hurtled into the sunflower seed, engulfing it in a blazing inferno. What the hell is she still using magic, I thought to myself. I struggled to focus as the enormity of everything that had just happened finally caught up with me, and then my mind went blank and I slumped back to the floor. Kid. Magill appeared behind her as if I'd risen up from the shadow on the ground.
Magill, she hissed. There you are.
She turned around and her face was alive with a sunflower-like fury. Her eyes burned with rage as she stared at him. Wait, you have to listen to me.
Nuega Ziena.
Kid ignored Magill's pleading as she started casting another spell. That sunflower seed. It was worth 1 billion G. Fireball. Oh no. Oh geez, she's gonna be so mad now. At that moment, Kid's face twisted into an expression of I don't know what. But when her shoulders slumped as she trudged sadly, I had an idea of what she must be feeling. That said, I can't believe that horrible sunflower seed could have been worth so much, nor could I imagine who would buy it. I asked Magill why Kid was suddenly able to use magic. He told me it was a side effect of the sunflower's powerful curse, and apparently she had always had a latent talent for spellcraft. I was going to say, that's the important one. Don't be sad, Kid. Come on, now you can use magic. Won't that make things easier for us on our next big heist? I clapped a friendly hand on her shoulder. She slowly turned to face me. Tears were streaming from her eyes. I sighed. It was clearly going to be a while before she was herself again. I can't believe the ending of us dying was actually, like, better for our relationship. Also, can I just say, did they use the inspiration of her being in the monster to make the bonus boss from Chrono Trigger DS, the Dream Devourer? Because, that's interesting. This was the buck wildest ending I think I've ever seen. I cannot believe that this was how it went. Right? I mean, A, shoutouts to Monster Girls, but B, there was so much extra stuff there that I couldn't even believe it. Like, new artwork, all that sort of stuff. It was really good. Okay, so let's go to save the game before we head on out, because I'm just shocked at how much this is. I thought we'd be able to do all the endings in one video, but they're not endings. They're just full-blown extra stories, which is wild. So yeah, we're not done yet at all. I'm very happy I didn't write that this was going to be like the only extra one. Like, no, we got more to do for sure. Okay, and again, the fact that that was not an asleep ending means that's still that could be canon, which means Magus's frame 5000 overhead is real? Bro, that's kind of sick. That's really crazy. All right. So yeah, once this finishes up, I will just start up the file and hit continue there. Well, I guess you gotta see. Well, no, we already saw the ending there. It already said it there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and next time we'll be back with some more endings, I guess. We'll take a look. We'll see what it's like, because, whoo boy, I did not expect these to be like this. So thank you guys. We'll see you next time for some more endings. Will they be quicker? Will they be slower? I don't know. Right? Maybe that's just the big one. But for now, we'll see ya. Ciao.